It's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Alaja Nima Kashat Zabiri. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. It's day 5 of our kittens.
Oh,
yes, I do have banter.
Grandma.
So yesterday, the decision to name them have started.
I've reached that level.
Yes, and they called Madam at school. She said, are you people naming them without me being around? I said, no, of course we're waiting for you now.
And even how do you tell them apart? Are they different colors?
You know Imran. Initially, the first 3, I didn't know them apart. And then he said, Mommy, this one has white neck. White so he taught me how to know them apart. And so the new ones now, he said, one looks exactly like Ginny. Ginny is the dad. The one that I did not do wedding for. I go and fornicate and bunch of. The other ones look more like bits. The one has all black. Grey mixed with all, because Bitsy has some grey. So I'm going to do naming, Titus Fish naming party.
Let's go.
Yeah.
It's well, you.
Give out to that.
How you doing, Tokwe? I love this thingy.
Yeah, I've been wearing my birthday gift back to back. So this is my birthday gift from Pastor Maya Koriofe and the Thriving Businesswomen Fellowship. I saw her wear it and I really liked it. And I would have, I like this idea. I didn't know you were going to present it to me as a gift. So I found a way to rock it. It's I don't know. It's nice, yeah. I like it. Like and then this is from Beam Beads, birthday gifts too. Yesterday I was wearing birthday gifts. I'm still enjoying all the birthday gifts that I've gotten. But I've been putting my book on the table every day since on Monday and I don't talk about it. So, yeah. Publish another book. I'm coming to meet Mariam for counseling on how to get it into Latana and all the bookstores. Okay. Yes, because Roving Heights. I want to get it on Roving Heights and all those places. But I have my second book. This is very personal, and I strongly recommend that you should read it if you are at a place where you want to scale up. You feel like you want to transform. There's something more. There's a hunger within you. This is my journey, and is how you can also replicate it. And this is Nigerian. I've read many books by other people telling you how to transform, but they don't relate because they are not here. Elorawe is on my social media page.
How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing fine. So the other day I had talked about the school, Gleam College, that had done, a community cleanup. Yes. And then I made a post, but then I noticed not long after, people talking about how unhygienic it is, how their safety and all the risks. And to be honest, when I saw the pictures, I noticed many of the kids didn't have boots on. And they didn't have, the normal things that you use for cleaning, the PPE and whatever. But immediately I made some calls, trying to see how I can raise money or have people make those contributions to them. But I'm talking mostly to people who were making the comments. Some people were saying you have to sue the school. I get it. It's easy to point at a problem, and if I had looked at those pictures and seen only the problems, I would never have shown you those pictures or highlighted that they had taken a message and decided to, do something with it that will impact their community. So as much as the way that they did it wasn't perfect, they did something, and that should be the main message. And then the next message I would like to hear is for someone to say, oh, I noticed they don't have this. How can I help? For them. Please, let's always think that way. How can we help? For me, I've been thinking, how can I help since, and I'm already making moves. So anyone who's seen those pictures and would like to help these schools have proper PPEs, safety gadgets, proper cleaning equipment for those areas, please, would really appreciate your donations.
That's the right mentality to have, not just criticizing. I mean, on the contrary, there was a gentleman that was seen throwing trash on the road. I think that phrase I posted it. And grown adults were seen taking trash from his trunk, putting it out on the road, driving off. And young kids clean up their neighborhood. So at least we must, really encourage young ones. Okay, it's Thursday. I'm fine. I'm good. Thank God. Just having a great life. Okay.
One day at a time.
One day at a time. Yeah. Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Tinubu governors, ministers, APC chiefs in midterm review. Government to complete forfeited 753 duplexes after integrity tests before sell-off. LP crisis NLC joins forces with Nenadi against Abure. Nelfund orders refund of tuition to loan beneficiaries. Lagos Special Offences Court sends teacher to life jail for raping a 9-year-old pupil. Correctional Service plans 5 million naira bounty on 6 fleeing Ilesha prison inmates. Police station can't function with 45,000 naira quarterly running costs. DSS not part of Kanu's arrest in Kenya. And Southwest Development Commission raises interrogation hope. Okay.
It's the police station story.
It's me, So the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Police Trust Fund, Mohammed Shaidu, has decried the amount that our budget provides for the running cost of our police stations every quarter, as in 3 months. So it's 15,000 if you break it down a month to run a police station, and daily maybe 500 naira, according to the breakdown. And it says this is what we budget to run police stations. So whenever I go to those police stations, and I have that feeling I usually have at the neighbor police station, you know, that this place doesn't really look like a station, it's not welcoming. Know that it's Nigerians that provided the facility that looks like what they need. So this is how we run it, providing this meager amount of money and expecting the police officers to do a miracle. According to the boss, he stressed the issue of fuel allocation from the central budget, and how he should power the office with the stations with money. And he says that even the IGP has admitted to it that the budget is nothing. And he says that the budget reallocation for just fueling of cars cannot run these stations or even run the cars for 4 months. In the worst case, in the best case scenario, 8 months. And what happens in the other months of the year? And so when you go and report a crime and you say, all those police officers, they disappointed me. How many of us now, down to how the funding is done? So there's a 0.5% of every, that's the federal allocation, a federal account allocation committee that is supposed to go to funding even the Nigerian Police Trust Fund itself. And that some states have already sued the PTF for this money. They have sued them. Why should that money be remitted? If you break it down, according to him, in 2022 alone, it took them a lot of court cases. So there's a 0.005% of the net profit of all companies operating in Nigeria, which is a total of about 50,000 from 1 billion. So a company that makes $1 billion will give that the NPTF 50,000 in a year to run it. And that's because of the improvement of federal inland revenue. They've been getting remittances, but even then,
it's still not enough.
You hear it and we wonder how. So it's a problem that we must solve holistically, not with lip service. If you hate the police stations, then you do something about it.
I have Nelfund that all tertiary institutions have been directed by the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Nelfund, to refund fees paid by students who applied and were verified before their loans were remitted. Nelfund calling on all institutions to also not bar any verified student under the loan scheme from academic activities, including examinations, due to the non-payment of tuition. So the MD CEO of Nelfund, Akintunde Soya, said that universities, polytechnics, and other tertiary institutions need to keep to the agreement that they had with the agency. And by doing that, it will make it seamless. Their compliance with the order will go a long way in addressing some of the complaints that many of the beneficiaries had. So what this is saying in essence is that some students who had registered for this loan and were verified, but maybe the loan didn't come in, and then they paid with their own cash to schools. They're asking schools to please start making those refunds since the loans have come in. And also in cases where the students haven't received any, don't have the funds to pay, or haven't received their loans yet, even though they've been registered and verified, the school should not stop them from participating in all activities, even exams, because what it means is that the loans will still come in. So, and they don't want that to hamper, the progress of a student. So, and they're saying that these are agreements they already had with Nelfund and the school.
Exactly.
So please just stick to this agreement that we had, and it will make
and it's the early days for this program. It's important that all the various layers are able to work to ensure that the kids don't get discouraged.
Yes.
You know, so just make it happen. Teacher bags life imprisonment for defiling a 9-year-old pupil. A 35-year-old music teacher and counselor of Latches International School. His name is Anthony Oke, has been sentenced to life imprisonment for defiling a 9-year-old GSS pupil names withheld. Justice Abiola Sholadoi of Anikeja Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court in judgment yesterday held that the prosecution had discharged the burden of proof of the charge of the defilement against Oke. The judge described Oke as a pathological liar. Everything a teacher should not be having unlawful sexual intercourse with his pupil. She said that the teacher was a man without a soul and had no iota of how do you molest a pupil? Okay.
Yeah, so I have the story on the DSS and their involvement in Kanu's, that's Nnamdi Kanu's arrest. At the resumption of the cross-examination in the case against Nnamdi Kanu, which is taking place in the Federal High Court in Abuja, they said that they had a conversation, and the DSS, an official of the DSS, said the agency was not part of the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu in Kenya, and that they don't usually operate outside Nigeria. It's not legal, and that they are not in any way being influenced by any politician or political appointee, but the agency is under the office of the National Security Advisor, that they are not the ones involved in the Kenyan arrest, and they don't want to be associated with it. Of course, the case, then the story then went on.
For Kenya then?
I know that I think it was Interpol or something, so they handed them over, but DSS was not the one that arrested him over there. Okay. You know, so that was one of the things they said. They said of course the lawyer would try in making the case, said that is the DSS official aware that they've had 3 cases asking 3 judgments saying that the detention of Nnamdi Kanu is illegal and all of that, and the man was saying the response from the official was like, yeah, they heard about, they read it in the news, you know, and all of that. But all in all, in the conversation is this has protracted, it's gone for too long, and we must have a bit of closure so that people can move on to other things.
Okay, the Punch. Terror threats. Senate Zulum demands swift action from Tinubu. JAM reviews 379,000 UTME receipt results. Petrol price war closes nearly 5,000 fuel stations. Salary crisis, FG plans intervention funds for 109 foreign missions. Lagos City justice for 3,215 abused children in 2024. Nigeria spends $2 billion on external debt in 4 months. And Germany warns Nigerian neighbors against Russian alliance.
Okay, so the Lagos State Agency for Agency Against Domestic Violence and Sexual Violence has done their review for the year 2024, January to December 2024, and they found about 9,279 domestic violence cases. Those involving children. Out of this 9,000 is 3,215 children that were subjected to various sorts of abuse between that period. The other 6,064 were adult male and female cases, and they said because of that, the agency, Punch was interviewing the executive secretary of the Domestic Sexual Violence Agency in Lagos City, Lola Vivo and Adeni, and so she was explaining what they are doing to combat this, including partnering with the Ministry of Education, Office of Education Quality Assurance, and they have what they call the Kings and Queens Club, where they teach children about sexual and reproductive rights and sexual and gender-based violence. They also have a club for parents where they partner with the PTA associations of schools to, teach parents what to do to prevent, help their kids spot some of these abuses, including grooming and all of that. Okay. And so well done to the agency.
Let's go on a very short break now. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Good, tasty food is worth living for. Worried about your oil every time you enjoy your favorite meal?
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News. My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam.
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show. Give for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, number 1.
Peace, security, and stability in their countries. This was at the International Conference on ECOWAS at 50, which was held at the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs in Lagos. He particularly warned Sahel countries that are relying on Russia for their defense in Africa core, noting that the relationship was not driven by true interest and respect for their countries. He argued that the lack of sincere interest in the development of African countries is epitomized by the fact that Russia had no concrete, impactful projects in West Africa. They do not regard Russia under President Putin as a reliable partner on peace and stability in the region. From Russia's direct neighborhood to various parts of Africa, Putin's Russia is playing a power and resource game without respect for the true interests of the respective country or region. They said the former Wagner mercenaries are now acting in several African countries, including parts of West Africa, and they are called Africa Corps. These are directly guided by the Russian Ministry of Defense in Moscow. I do not know of any concrete Russian project in West Africa that they can have a positive impact on the well-being of West Africa's nation and its people. The Consul General also noted ECOWAS remained under high pressure following the exit of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, apart from the issues of terrorism, banditry, and organized crime. So they're saying, keep away from Russia. Russia doesn't mean you well. You're just trying to do this for your resources.
Thank you, Germany.
We haven't seen anything that they have done that has positively impacted you. And I wanted to say, all the Oyibos that have come to our continent.
Zanatu is here now, hanging out.
Yeah.
Doing a few things. Okay, over 4,900 petrol retail outlet owners have shut down because thousands of independent marketers are currently scaling down as a result of the downstream sector. Issues attributed to rising loss from unpredictable and volatile costs in the price of the premium motor spirit petrol sold by Dangote refinery and PMS importers. This comes against the backdrop of frequent changes in the price of petrol by the refinery. The $20 billion refinery has changed the price of petrol about 6 times this year already. It reviewed petrol prices 6 times between January and April. So Punch was saying that, according to their findings, showed that marketers are lamenting this development, and the situation has compelled marketers to scale down the volume of petrol products they purchase, with as many as 3 or more marketers now pooling their resources to afford a single truckload of fuel. So we're seeing the impact of Dangote refinery.
Okay, I want to take this. Of course, I want to take the story of salary crisis, because we've complained, and I know several Nigerians that live in foreign countries have complained about how the embassies are not effective. Apparently, the crisis reached out to is affecting about 450 foreign service officers who haven't been paid salaries in 6 months. And the federal government now said that they are making providing funds to solve the salary crisis. This federal government fund will be going to 109 foreign missions. The amounts undisclosed, but they are expecting that this would cushion the effect of months of long financial strain and further avert deterioration of Nigerian diplomatic presence abroad. One key thing that we should note, though, is there's been a steady increase in the budget allocated to these foreign ministries. But if we consider that the budget is in Naira and the value of Naira against the dollar, even if it increases, it might not really have that much effect. The Foreign Affairs Ministry is sending these intervention funds, and they are hoping that it would reduce the limitations that officers have already complained about over there. I'm just wondering, how have people survived in foreign countries for 6 months without earning salary? Like
Cuba and other side gigs they do.
Moving
on to the Nigerian Tribune, 2027 ADC meets today, may ratify coalition. LCCI man decried 27.5% monetary policy rate. No lady is on the trial for converting to Christianity in Zamfara, says government. Again, 4 persons abducted by gunmen in Kogi. You tell me why I didn't resign, says Professor Oloyede. Trump ambushes Ramaphosa during White House meeting. And forget defections, it will be hungry Nigerians versus APC in 2027, says Makinde.
Israel. I have the story from Zamfara. The Zamfara state government has debunked a story claiming that Zamfara Christian convert Zainab Mohammedu is set to stand trial in Sharia court on Friday, which is tomorrow, describing the news which has been trending on social media as the handiwork of enemies of the state. The spokesperson for the governor, Suleiman Bala Idris, said to newsmen on Wednesday that the report is false and was taken from social media sites that only seek to generate traffic. And they've, verified beyond reasonable doubt that no such a case exists before any Sharia court in the state. The attention of the state government had been drawn to the mischievous fake news circulating about a 22-year-old Zainab Mohammedu, who is supposed to be facing a death penalty. Anyway, the state government said they summoned the relevant authorities and security agencies to verify the authenticity of the story. To also ensure accountability and certainty, the state government had confirmed with the Grand Qadi of Zamfara Sharia Court of Appeal regarding any similar cases. He stated that there has never been such a case before the Sharia Court in the state. So where did this perilous and divisive narrative originate? What are their underlying motives? Who is promoting this story, and what do they hope to accomplish in the long run? This media report is pointing a finger at Sahara reports. They say that many media platforms that should provide public with verified news, that they've become so complacent and merely copying and pasting content from social media accounts eager for likes and comments. And they went further to say that the woman whose picture was used in this news is not Nigerian. Her name is Aliyah, and she's from Texas in the United States. Imagine. So who are these people? What do you hope to achieve by spreading such a false story?
Wow. So I have a worrisome story also. The Yagba community, West local government area of Kogi State is currently, I don't understand, suffering from kidnappers. So they had earlier kidnapped a king, I think last week or last 2 weeks, from the same community, just abducting him right from the palace and walking away. And this time around, they attacked the residence of an elder man in the community, by Ezekiel Durojaye, a retiree and a respected community leader. And right in his own compound, they abducted him along with 3 others, making 4 people abducted. Earlier, they had demanded 100 million for the king, the monarch that was abducted. They reduced it to 50 million. Family members and community members have reached out to the local government chairman as well as the governor to help with the ransom. And now they have another person abducted. I think that the governor knows, this is now serious. It can't be the same narrative of kidnapping coming out from Kogi State without the state government having a stand.
But against the former governor,
they were able to reduce it, and he was part of that cabinet.
So if they solved it then, so what is now happening now?
I hope it's not just political, but these are people's lives. And I hope that proper things are done.
Have a story in trivia?
Yes, I do. I have the story from Lagos Chamber of Commerce, decrying the fact that the government is maintaining the monetary policy rate at 27.5%, which means that businesses are getting loaned for as high as 37%. Nigeria ranks number 6 in the world among countries where the rates for interest rate is ridiculously high. The head of the director of LCCI, Shegun Ajayi Kadirin, said that many other countries in the past 6 months have been consciously trying to cut down interest rates to boost the economy. You see, he listed countries from Europe to India to Thailand to China to Egypt. They have implemented interest rate cuts to boost the economy and spur growth within the economy. But Nigeria, it is increased that we are increasing. Even when inflation went down, the interest rate is increasing, and that the government is shrinking the financing capacity of many MSMEs, and this is not sustainable. It wonders what the idea is to sustain the monetary policy rate at 27.5%. How will people be able to survive paying back those loans?
Did they switch it on or switch it off? I don't understand. When interest rates, do you just
no, the MPC.
No, but I'm trying to understand the
so what are the factors that determine
over 23%?
So when somebody says in Nigeria, I see somebody switched it on to a certain level, and someone can switch it off, because you have to always remind Nigerians, because the idea is to educate Nigerians. And listen, several factors can what leads inflation to go high or low.
And it's based on inflation. This is the MPR rate, which affects interest rates in the bank. So the LCCI is saying that the government can adjust this policy with the interest of supporting small businesses.
Okay, I understand that better now. Okay, I think that's all. Almost story in Tribune. I was going to take Professor Oloyede's, the JAMB registrar, was saying yesterday that he actually wanted to step down when this whole thing happened. He intended to step down, but his colleagues and associates advised him not to. That it would be like he's abandoning the students at this time. He said that also recall that the technical glitches affected 5 states in the southeast and Lagos, with many alleging that the board deliberately compromised results of the southeast. And he said that there was nothing like that. There was no conspiracy theory against any part of the country. He explained that the emotional breakdown happened during the news conference and to announce the scheduling of the exams for candidates affected by the technical glitches was a result of empathy for the young lady that took her life, and was not a sign that the board was weak or an admission of the challenge. It was just because he reflected on the fact that young girl had killed herself, and that's why he broke down on that. Okay, I think that's all we can take on front page review. Can you do that very quickly? Let's see how many minutes we have. Okay, we're out of time. That's all we can take on the front page review. Let's go on a break. When we come back, continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before
Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it, you'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's live camera fashion, where we strut, slay, and sashay, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
My name na Chika Okeke.
My name na Uwi Balogun.
My name na Damilola Banire. My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen.
And this na Abigail. And I dare on top of you, pigeon. I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say na my husband be this.
This na wetin you want.
After that day, the man
no go see am again. If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey find the husband, you not see sign say the guy is nothing. You don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person we go give am to you, fact as it be.
Men no dey ever get fault. If baby not dey for her, na the woman.
Talk no dey be person, you make person no fit talk true inside.
But for this country, we not say if we open court in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
We not even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some poria. I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real estate developer.
I am Amako Arakwe. I'm a corporate commercial lawyer and an entrepreneur.
Barkamu da warhaka. I am Ramatu Shehu Oyibo, an entrepreneur and a business coach.
I am the voice of an average Muslim woman, an hijabite, and a lawyer.
I am a polymath and a serial entrepreneur.
I am Murayo Afolabi Brown, Managing Director, TVC Entertainment. I'm a media consultant, producer, and broadcaster.
The ladies of Your View are made of women from different professions, tribes, cultures, and religion. Join us every Monday to Friday as we share our views on topical and social issues.
Good morning, Marina Station and all the passengers. Efficient, it's comfortable.
This development will go a long way in reducing congestion and emission.
The trains are a long-term solution to Lagos traffic challenges.
This is where we take the final, decisions on policies, programs of government. I will have to ensure that, the narration of Lagos as a PLC is taken very, very seriously.
This is a major pedestrian bridge linking Oyinbo here to Apapa Road over there.
With this overpass, we are providing what we call a permanent solution.
this place is one of the most dangerous areas at the biosecurity environment.
This can go into the news and every crimes of your neighborhood.
Our goal is to remain as Africa's model megacity, to move our GDP from the 5-6 position to the 3rd position, and we believe it's achievable with all the commitments we have.
Explore the city of Lagos, where dreams are made and possibilities are endless. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
I'm Nifemi Oguntoye, news anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And hey, you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Thanks for staying with us. So recently there was an actress who came out to say that African parents are too proud to apologize to children over our harsh parenting style, urging parents to imbibe the culture. According to her, it says, if I apologize, other parents should too. As parents, we strive to raise responsible, well-adjusted children who can thrive in an ever-changing world. However, the line between discipline and harsh parenting can be blurry. So while discipline is essential for teaching children right from wrong, harsh parenting can have long-lasting negative effects on the child's emotional and psychological well-being. So what are your thoughts on this? This is a conversation that's been going on in social media for a few days now. But there's always that debate of we were raised with a bit of harshness. And that made us stronger, gave us some kind of resilience that a lot of young people today are lacking. My young son, I asked him to bring stuff from the car into the house, and I think it was just like bags of water or something, and he was already complaining, like, "Mommy, so much." I'm like, "It's just like 2 bags of water." So like, "Can you call my twin to come and help me?" I'm like, "No, you can handle it." You know, so he was just, and he was debating, and I'll get upset. Why are you upset? Why are you debating? I'll give you an instruction. Obey, carry it into the kitchen. But he felt that he could convince me to call his twin sister to come and help him. So, and that's something you, as a child, they've instructed you to go and carry the water. You go and carry the water, and don't worry who's helping you or who's not helping you. So the differences are there, you know. So that's the conversation. Parenting is our focus today. Are we being too lenient with these young ones today? Do they need a bit of harshness? Or is it okay to apologize? And does apology that you're weak to your child? That's the conversation. You can call us on 021-6352-013-090-241-63440. You can also send us messages on X and on YouTube. We'll be happy to share your thoughts. Okay?
So, I wouldn't say that apologizing is very powerful. You know, if we're taking it from the perspective of what the celebrity Mercy herself said, which is apologize. But the castigating discipline for me might be such a there's no blanket parenting rule, because each child is different, and what works for each child differs from the other, and the style with which you would manage each child will be different. When you were talking about asking your son to carry something from the car, my dad, I was pampered. Yeah, my dad pampered me. My mom was the one that was more firm. My dad, I didn't fetch water. Where I grew up is a norm. You carry buckets and walk many streets to fetch water to your house. My dad would carry the keg into the car, drive his bus there. Even for me to carry it from the car to the house, he'd be like, "No, I will not put something on my head. He doesn't want to stress me. My mom will be the one for it. Let her carry it. You let her carry it." You know, so I don't see it as like that would spoil me if I don't carry the load. Because as an adult, if I need to carry something, it's my responsibility. I'll do it. But the idea of saying you do something that maybe you mismanage the situation and not apologize is a culture that we need to work on as parents in Africa, in Nigeria specifically. If I misjudge a situation, my child said something and I assumed otherwise, and I lash out at the child, and later realize that, oh, it wasn't you that took the juice. I thought it was you. Sorry. I'm really sorry. Because I had punished him, thinking he drank the juice because he's always the one drinking juice inside the fridge, only to realize that it wasn't him, it was grandma that drank the juice. I'm really sorry. I actually thought it was you. I am so sorry. I do that. It's not something I saw, but it's something I've learned. It's a part of how to teach children to be responsible. Right. When they see their parents apologize for something they've done wrong, that child understands that at every point in time I must take responsibility. So if we're separating that from discipline, separating it from other things, it is part of how we build a wholesome child.
Well, yes, you know, many times we extol the virtue of strict discipline, harsh discipline, and we see, you know, in many ways how that has helped to shape us in a positive way. But one thing that we do also is to make it come across as like almost the opposite of that when you decide to go like the understanding way or a conversation way or the situation where you're apologizing for what you realize as a parent that is wrong, people look at it as a bad thing. But for me, I believe that all these things come together to make for good parenting. That sometimes you be firm and strict and really tough, and there are sometimes you acknowledge where you have made a mistake and correct. All that is part of the ingredients of raising a wholesome child, because in many ways the child also learns how to apologize when they have, you know, done wrong. There's so many lessons that they learn from that. I saw something recently, and I don't know why that thing just resonated with me so much. Someone we were just asking about parenting, and he says he sees grandparenting as the way grandparents are with their grandchildren. It's almost as if it's telling us parents how we should have loved our children. Because usually grandparents are much more lenient, you know, but because as a parent there's just so many things maybe you're juggling with and you're raising a child for the very first time. By the time you're a grandparent, you are able to, in hindsight, look at some things that you didn't do right, you try and correct some things, and then, you know, maybe I should have been sweeter, maybe I should have asked the question, maybe I should have apologized. So it's okay to have those conversations of apologizing. There's recently, my daughter did something, and we all assumed it was my son. We were like, there's no how. It can never be. I mean, there was no need to ask any question. It was just for him to come, and then we sit down, and then we tell him our mind, how dare you? And then when he came, he denied it. Then we started talking about the importance of honesty. Do you know what? Hey, in my mind, I was hyperventilating. I said, how can this boy be looking at? I didn't say anything, but in my mind, I'm like, how can this boy be looking me in my eye and be lying? Anyway, his father says, I believe you if you say you did not do it. And we left it. So we said we'll call the sister. Nobody else was there by the time the sister came back from school. I called her. And I said, this is what happened. She just went.
Oh, it was her.
She was the one I could not, first of all, I could not believe it. So when she did, I said, okay, maybe she's going to say, I was trying to cover up for Foggy, but now that you have said it, she was like, yes, I did it. But please don't tell Daddy.
Oh, my Lord.
I would like to have this conversation with you alone. And then we had the conversation. And when we were done, I said, I understand and everything. And she turned to me. She says, thank you for not getting upset. Thank you for listening to me, because now, because you have listened to me, I am not afraid that when something like this comes up next time, I will speak to you about it. Yes, I did. I told him. But I now realize that there's also a benefit to sometimes not being in that space. The benefit was that I allowed her to come up to say the truth. She even said to me, she says, Mommy, usually the reason why I would not say the truth on things like this is because I know you get angry. But now seeing that you did not get angry and you listen to me, I don't think I'll ever be afraid to tell you anything. I was
but that's good though.
I said, well, it ended well. And then we went and we met our son and apologized for thinking.
For judging?
Yeah, for judging. But I'm saying all this to say that all these things are ingredients that help in raising a child right. Sometimes we do tough. Sometimes we do understanding. It's all good.
Let me hear your thoughts on this before I go on a break. I wanted to go into have been managing personalities of our children. But let me hear your thoughts.
Okay. Even though recently now I agree, we ought to apologize to our kids. I still think that the circumstances should be different. And I am not one who believes in quick apology to children. So I always say to them, I'm your mom, not your friend. But in my mind, I'm trying to befriend my kids, especially my daughter. I was a tough mom to my daughter. I still am. And we're now at an age where I want to be best friends with her. I want to be the first person she turns to for anything. But I still, because I know her. My daughter was in primary 4 when I said to her, I wasn't good in maths. All this time I'd been the excellent mommy. I did all maths assignment until maths became a bit tough. I was like, this one that they gave you this fraction and equation and something. Oh, I wasn't good in maths, so the day I expressed it to my daughter, that day, she found the weakness. I'm telling you, the next thing she said is that you didn't know the maths. Mommy, you know everything. I said, I don't know everything. No. Then one time, the two of them had this conversation, and it was like, so Mommy said she cannot ride a bicycle.
I've seen ammunition.
I'm telling you, it was ammunition. The next day, they were talking, they said, Daddy, my mommy can't swim. You know, just expressing to them certain things I couldn't do. Because I'm super mommy now. I do everything. I taught my boys how to play football. You'd assume that I can swim. I can ride bicycle.
You can climb Mount Everest.
I can, you know, one day I was like, I taught them how to ride their bicycle. So they assume I knew how to. I was like, if one thing I miss is never having a bicycle as a child. I've never been able to have a balance. Even though once I sit on it, I fall. And they're like, Mommy, with the way you drive, you can't ride bicycle. My children weaponized it. So I'm learning now, even if the circumstances are such that I have to apologize, I take time to have a conversation, to build to it. So I'm only showing them I'm accountable.
Yes.
But you see me, I'm mommy. I get away with everything. You know, I can do no wrong kind of thing. So I'm not one to quickly apologize to my child.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
TerraCube is available in beef, chicken, jollof, and shrimp flavor.
News anchor with TVC News.
My day is usually busy and it's difficult keeping up with breaking news stories, trending stories, business news, stock exchange and what have you. But with TVC News on WhatsApp, I'm able to catch up with all the breaking news, real-time updates and trending stories on the go, right on my phone, no matter where I am. It's quick, easy and always on. And here you can join us by scanning the QR code or using the link on our X and Instagram. Why wait? Come to the side of news that keeps you ahead. TVC News, first with breaking news.
TVC Communications, Nigeria's leading independent broadcast company, has been officially designated as a great place to work. Over the past 3 years, we have transformed our workplace into one which is respectful, caring, rewarding, and provides great benefits to all our 500 employees. We thank our team for giving us the chance to show that partnership between employer and employee really works. TVC Communications, officially designated as a great place to work, and now the only broadcasting and media company not just in Nigeria but throughout continental Africa to be fully certified. TVC Communications, a great Nigerian company, a great Nigerian place to work.
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrity.
Thanks for staying with us. So, I mean, while Miriam was talking, I just thought to myself that, you know, there's a lot to discuss when it comes about managing the various personalities of your children, because how you raise them differently but alike, where you have to pay attention to their ingrained personality and how they're inherently built. Just this morning, I was having a conversation with my son, and I had to apologize to him. So while you were talking, I remember that actually I apologized to my son this morning. So usually there's a broken net in their room. So because of that, our dad says they can sleep in our room, but it's really uncomfortable with the two boys sleeping in our room. But we allow them to sleep in our room. But my son, my oldest son, whenever he comes, because the little one is easy for that one to sleep in our room because he just gets lost. But the other one is, when he sleeps, he's a man. You know? So I get really uncomfortable. So my countenance always changes when he walks in. He notices it. My husband's countenance also changes that. Okay, you know. So because he has studied our countenance, he then refused. He would rather go and sleep in this room. So I slept like 2 nights. So yesterday evening, you know, and I was like, "Are you sleeping in our room?" Says, he looked at my face. "No, mommy, I'm sleeping in my room." Like, okay, no problem. But it was sad. I could tell, but I ignored it. So this morning I had to go to him. I said, "You have every right to sleep in our room. It's okay." You know, I had to apologize for not inviting him again because I understood the other one doesn't look at your face. He goes right on the bed and is sleeping. But this one, I need to remind him that it's okay. So understanding how do you gauge your children's personality and know how to manage them separately.
Okay. Our kids are totally different children. My own case, just 2 of them, you can tell they are sun and moon. Yes, sun and moon. Gufran is she's audacious. Her brother is, you know, something happened over the weekend and I felt so offended. I just turned and said, "I didn't mean to hurt your feelings." That's my son. I see you're not happy. I said, "No, I'm fine. He said, "No, you're not. What I did must have really hurt you." But you know, I have to do. That's my son. He can express emotions. Every emotion has a name, time, label. And so I parent him differently. My husband thinks it's the most unfair thing. If my footstep sounds on the staircase, my daughter sits up. Mom is coming. My husband says, "Bless you, be God." But if my son hears my footsteps, he warms up.
Wow.
So it's like, you cannot be too different mother to these 2 children. They are both of your children, and you must love them. You can say, that does not mean I don't love them equally. Also, there's age, there's experience, there's timing in every parent. I remember as a child, my elder sisters, they cooked all their lives for me till I was 12. My mother just woke up one morning and said, "If we leave this one, she will not do anything for herself." And so it was about them being my elders. And one time I just told my son, he was playing. I said, "If that clothes, you just took your bath. Now, and next thing he slided, he had drained, he had gone in the puddle." And I said, "Take off those clothes. You wash them today." And I said, "Frank, can you wash them?" Hey, the father said, "You see, you are showing preferential treatment." I said, "No, there's 4 years between the 2 of them. This one does not even know how to squeeze a handkerchief. But the person who will get it done now so I can go and sleep is Gufran. And other things they will compensate." He didn't get that compensatory raise, and I'm looking at it from that point, but he's seen preferential treatment. I had to say to her, I said, "Auntie, you too. These are the things you're supposed to do." But who did them? He said, "Mommy." I said, "It's not because I don't want to punish. It's not punishment. What I want you to do is learn." So circumstances, timing, parenting is not a tablet of things.
No, it's not.
You know, it's not. If my son, I started teaching my daughter to do the dishes, do the bed at 4. I started teaching my son at 8. Because now I'm trying to get attention, if I never get. They're 2 different children, 2 speed, 2 space, everything. And so even now, do the dishes. The soap is everywhere. The dishes you have done and the ones you have rinsed, I cannot even tell the difference. So my husband thinks he has to use cane. I didn't use cane to teach his sister. That's a mistake everybody makes. I was tough, but it wasn't cane. I used to teach her and she was a natural at it. She knits, she weaves, she makes. That's her innate thing. Puts my son to knit. How do you knit? She sews now. Okay. She, you know, so there are skills and all of that you are looking at as a parent. You're looking at the child's build up. Okay. You're looking at the child's space. You're also looking at the years gap. All of those things as a parent. And it doesn't mean that you don't love one.
Let me take Amaka. Has been holding for a while. Amaka from Port Harcourt, thanks for calling. Sorry for keeping you.
Hello?
Yes, Amaka, go ahead, please.
This is Yinka from Abuja.
Oh, Yinka from Abuja. Oh, sorry, I was told Amaka.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm a first-time caller. Okay, so concerning apology, I have two beautiful girls that are very, very emotional. And what I do is I take time to apologize, no matter what it is.
Oh, yikes. So sorry. I lost that call. So sorry about that. Please try to call her back.
Yeah. So, I think that when it comes to parenting different children, I don't want to go back and talk about the apologizing thing and sensitive children. I think that it's extremely important to be aware of sensitive children and how many of us would have been more emotionally balanced as adults if only we had sensitive parents that were observant of how sensitive we are and related to us with that level of sensitivity, as opposed to just saying, you must, this is it all the time. And a lot of damages that people are trying to undo through therapy and self-development that have been avoided if we just were more, if parents were a bit more sensitive and spent more time. But I have my kids are very different, and they're all boys, and I have the twins and the younger one, and at every point in time the younger one is always like in competition with the twins. He's competing, he wants to be the same height with them. Okay, the twins get this, he wants to get the same thing. The twins get it. I'm like, you need to learn how that life is not always going to give you something because you are my son doesn't mean you just get it, or because they've gotten doesn't mean you get it. They will get things you will not get. And the sensitivity of balancing the differences in them requires me to learn a whole lot more. Parenting is not an easy journey to take. It requires you to become a student. It requires you to spend time studying a child with the intention of, like, how do I manage this child? I'm trying to discover what is the talent this person has, what is the talent that person has. And I'm still also trying to pay the bills, trying to fulfill my own.
But do you think apologizing undermines our authority as parents?
No, I don't think so. I think it actually strengthens it helps you build your trust. I don't think it undermines, personally, I do not believe that apologizing undermines my authority as a parent. Actually, I think it strengthens my authority when I stand on something, because when I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. So if I say this is the right thing, take it is the right thing. Okay. So, and I think it also helps. I've met adults that refuse to admit when they are wrong. Yeah. And I feel like...
You didn't learn it.
You didn't learn it. There was no modeling of it. So you have conversation. Everybody knows this. This is magenta. This is like, in the shade of purple, you are now arguing it is pink. Hello? It's in the family of pink, but it is not pink. And then everybody says, this is not pink. And you see a full-grown adult arguing against what is blatant to everybody, refusing to admit it is wrong. That adult did not learn as a child.
Can we talk about
how to
back to the apology issue? How do we do this apology to children, to your own children? Because the line is, just as I explained, is like showing some form of weakness, and your children choose. Because it is the child that
I have to pause you because I'm sorry. Yinka is back. I'll come to you, Miriam. Yinka, thanks for calling back, Abuja. Go ahead, please.
Okay, fine. So I was saying I have two beautiful, emotional girls.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I really apologize to them, whatever it is. But not they would have gone through a punishment, and then I won't apologize to them. The younger one is very, very competitive. She comes back from school and then she says, the teacher does this, someone does that. I said, they're in that territory. Whatever it is, they are in that territory. I apologize on behalf of teachers, on behalf of friends. I do that so that she will be free. Because they are girls. The way you deal with girls are different from the way you deal with boys. Your girls need to be very, very, I like active girls. I don't like girls that are, So what I'm trying to say is that apologizing to your children is very, very important. It makes them know that, yes, mommy's got my back. Yes, I can say this to mommy. Yes, I can rely on mommy. Irrespective of what.
Boys need it.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Boys need it.
Okay. So I was saying that, you say, for me, with the apology, it's not blanket. The apology is always right.
Thank you.
Do you understand? There are some parents that have used it and can use it wrong, just as the way some parents can use the very firm parenting and abuse it. Yes. There's a there's a way that you can use this apologetic, being very
understanding. Do something bad and apologize.
Yes, and we have parents who do that. I beg, let's just tell her sorry so that we can do the next thing. I will never forget one of my earliest memories. I don't know why this just came to me. I don't remember what happened, but I remember crying and crying and feeling upset that no one had called me to apologize to me. I had waited, I cried, I'd done the drama still. So I came out to the sitting room. My mom was lying on the couch watching TV. And I said, you have not told me sorry. I've told you this gist. That is still pains me. My mother said, God, keep crying. You know, sometimes God gives you a well inside you. Just needs to keep crying. That thing hurts me. What she said, I don't know. It hurts me so much. And many times I've grown thinking my mom did not put into consideration my sensitivity. But now that I am older, I just realized if she had overdone it, that means everything will annoy me, everything. I won't be able to stand for anything. So, yes, there will be a time for apology. And that's one thing about parents, you know, you try and gauge it as much as you are. But also, parents, you give yourself grace because you will never get it perfectly right. The other day, I was talking to my children. Here I am thinking, you know, I think I'm doing a bit better from how I was raised. I'm learning from my colleagues. I'm listening to... And when my children were dropping things, they didn't tell me, especially my daughter, you know, she speaks. She didn't say anything to me. She says, when I'm a mother, I will do this. It is that I don't do. I was like, hey, you're shading me. He said, no, you're a perfect mother. But for me, when I become, these are the things I will do. So here I am looking at my mother thinking she didn't really pay attention. And I think I'm better. There'll always be a better way. So you will not be perfect, but give yourself grace. You remember that what's important is your intention. You are trying to raise a wholesome child and you do your best. But don't be too quick to give an apology if it's not needed, if it's not deserved.
And
or not about you. No, I feel the apology
and time is important.
I feel the apology we're talking about is different. If someone else hurt you, and as a child, and like this morning, my son came to me, David and Daniel, I threw something, they smacked me, and nobody said sorry. I said, so? If they did not say sorry, that it is when you as a parent wrongfully accuse or wrongfully judge, that there's no, you have to take responsibility. But if your child is crying, if your child said punishment, your child fell down, and I did not say sorry, that's life. You can fall and say sorry. But if I do wrong to you, and I don't apologize. Okay. There's no gauging of it. I won't apologize.
I have the callers on holding. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
All right. I think my contribution to it is that it is not on every situation that you want to apologize to a child. But again, as parents, there are times that we need to apologize to them. You know, for instance, sometimes when I go to pick my children from school, maybe I ran somewhere and I didn't get there early and everybody had picked their children. I need to apologize to them for coming late to pick them. In those kind of situations, you can apologize to them. Sometimes I'm supposed to take my son to go play football on Saturday morning, and then I might feel, okay, this morning I don't want to go because I'm tired. And then maybe later in the day he will be angry, he will not be. Then I call him and say, please, I'm sorry. You know, it was because I was tired. And then we get to talk about it and he will understand. There's a way that if we train these children, when they grow up, they will not find it difficult to also apologize to people and to their spouses and things like that. So there's a way we need to carry them on. In fact, there was something that happened sometimes. You know, we wanted to move from the house that we were, and then we just packed and moved to another environment. But when we got there, they didn't like that environment because it was not like the place where we were coming from. So I realized that time that whenever I'm even moving to any environment, I need to call a family meeting. Everybody should have input. Should we move to this part of, and like that? And if I'm not able to move to the area that they want, I should let them know that, see, we can't afford that place. It's good to, you know, carry children along in that area. But this apology, sometimes we can now take it out of board when we can spoil children with it. Children who are misbehaving, if you correct them and they are angry, you do not need to apologize. You need to stand on your ground. I think that's what I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
The caller has really done a lot of work for what I'm trying to express. So your kids, once they start to talk, they start to get audience. I think what is even more important than apologizing to a child is listening to the child. So sometimes they have their reasons for whatever they are doing, and it's tough to sit down in this our schedule, especially me that I'm doing it all by myself, to come and sit down and listen to why and what you want to do. But when we had to ship off one to school, she didn't like the idea. She never left till tomorrow. Whenever she's talking to me, she says, "Mommy, when am I leaving this place? I don't know them. I don't like here." But father says that's the discipline, the resilience you want to teach your child. So we're on two different shifts on this. I had to sit down that the decision for you to be in boarding school is not mine. I'm a supportive wife and a mother to you. I will be your mother in this situation, but I cannot decide whether you get out of it or not. So learn what the purpose your father chose this for you is so and so. Do it, learn it, get his A's, do whatever you need to do it right. Focus on what you are here, why you're here. But when you need your mom, you know where I am. I'll be always here. So these conversations is, I think, once they start to get to that point, sometimes you now carry phone. Just call and start crying on the phone. You can be on the phone for 10 minutes. She won't put in a word. It's just because you think I'm that kind of mom. Just tell her I said, you see, you're punishing me because I don't want to see you hurt. But is there anything really bad, one bad thing that has happened so that I can wear my mother boots and come and fight?
Come and do. Let me go on the show. We continue this conversation. Stay with us.
I've just found a pity party.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
When malaria knocks you down, you can be sure parasites are having a party in your system.
Welcome to our new kingdom, guys!
Comel, an effective weapon against malaria. Attacking the parasite army directly to give you express relief and get you back on your feet effectively. Comel on. Malaria gone.
Mortein insecticide with its improved formulation kills 100% mosquitoes that spread malaria. So, spread the message of how we can fight to end malaria with Mortein. Mortein, our number one choice.
On 7 of 7.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 280 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Ejeki, close the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, number one, Unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, shiny, yeah. Say recap done, and it's time for number one on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back? You should start the gym, though. You're getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference? There's a difference.
That's what I'm saying.
So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, it's the empowerment for me.
Sex can make a relationship better.
No.
Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too.
Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
This is. That's why you're still single.
I will not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
thanks for staying with us. There's a new angle I'd like to bring in, because I think during the break, Toko was talking about stories of people who are raising teenagers now, and when they travel to different parts of the country or different parts of the world, they don't have the strength that we had when we were growing up. And I remember that lots of people have said it, where young kids in Nigeria, today's generation, when you ship them off to a different country, they're not able to hustle it out. I think you said that. They're not able to have that staying power that we had to say, okay, I'm in Greece now, I'm in Israel, I'm here to work, I'm going to go to school, focus. Many of them get into depression. And it could be part of, some have argued, it's part of this soft hand we used to raise them. You apologize to them, and when you do something and you do pamper them, you talk to them, you don't spank them, you have conversations. You know, there's a school of thought that says it is the way we are using this kid's glove to raise these children that is not making them strong and courageous enough to face a new environment and learn to survive. Now they fall into depression because we so pamper them. We are having conversations, we are discussing, we are apologizing, we are, everything. We carry them from everywhere. They don't take buses. They are so pampered. But we had a bit of harsh raising, ruggedness that would make, if you throw me inside any place, I can survive.
We'll survive.
So do you think that could be a factor?
Do you know one of the things I think may be the issue? Is there's this thing about fairness we're trying to give our children. Make sure everything is fair. When you're a child, it's not fair, it's not fair. When we was growing up, it's not fair, and so what? But now I want to make sure that, is it fair for my child? Is it fair for my child? But then the child is going to go out into an unfair world. And the child is now going to be lost because there's no mommy or daddy fighting your fairness. You now have to fight for your fairness, and you're in a world where people are like, who the hell is so? If you think it's fair, I want this. And then unless that child has the skills or has been taught to just push through even when things are unfair, or recognizing that in this world it is unfair, but it does not mean that you can also make your way.
Exactly.
Now I feel that we haven't, our generation of parents or a bit before us, we haven't really done that for this generation. They just feel that life is supposed to be easy for them. So once they leave this comfortable space and they go, it's not comfortable, please, I want to come back. There's no need. Recently, I was talking to a relative. He's finished school. So I said, do you want to work? And I've heard it more than 2 or 3 people. He says, I don't want to work. He says, please tell me, why do I need to work? Why should I want to work? Why should I want to leave a place, go and spend hours doing something I don't enjoy just because I really, my dream is to be able to stay at home and have money. If I can do that, I don't want to work. And it's not the first person, second person, or third person I've heard say that. So what they want is, and yes, for whatever reason, the money they want, and they're not looking for the big mansions that we were looking for. We were waiting for, when I grew up, I want to buy my mother a mansion, and then I'll buy this mansion and I'll buy this yacht. They don't want it. They want to live, at least for many of the ones I've seen, they want enough money that they can live a comfortable life. I get up, get in a bus or in a train or a small car that I have, be comfortable. So if this is all that I need to do, I can be on my phone doing my social media, getting the change that I need. I'm not looking to build this whole
the ambition
mansion.
Level is different.
So those are the things that I'm saying.
Let me take Grace calling from Abuja. Thanks for calling. You're live. Grace.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Go ahead, please.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
So happy to be able to speak this morning. So my contribution is that I think we should not mix raising up a moral child and pampering a child. If you want to pamper your child, that's a different thing. And if you are raising a morally upright child, that's a different thing. Apologizing on the child is a different thing. If you make a mistake, you're intentional. I think it all goes down to being intentional about your parenting. If you make a mistake with your child, you're asking yourself, why am I apologizing? Am I apologizing to send the right message to this child? That when you go do something wrong, you can own it. You can tell that, okay, what I've done is wrong, and then move ahead from that. Or am I just doing it because the child is uncomfortable, the child is whining, the child is crying, so I just have to apologize. So I think being very intentional about our actions with kids really matters. If you are taking a child to school, for instance, using car, we can park one of the day and tell the child, okay, we are crossing the road. I'm teaching you how to cross. That's how to be intentional. You teach the child to take up responsibility, not because you cannot afford it. Sometimes it just boils down to being very intentional with kids.
Thank you very much,
give
Grace.
a child a soft life, yeah. Thank you.
Grace. You know, I was going to bring in an angle, and I'm using myself as an example. Because of the knowledge we've had, and I've been here 12 years, we learn, we relearn, and other things. I've tried to raise my child in a certain way, you know, to have that conversations. Now, I have a spouse who doesn't even see the things that way, because he likes the traditional way of raising children. But you know what I have observed? My daughter is 13 years old, and even though I have tried to raise her with conversations, I see that there's a kind of respect she has for her father, which I wouldn't say I desire, but because she sees me as, please, mom, whatever, you know, I tell her to do something, she already squeezing her face, she's squeezing, you know, getting upset. But daddy tells her once, she jumps twice. Because he doesn't have the, let's talk about it, how are you feeling, what can I do to make it better, all that thing that we were trying to do to get them to converse with us. I did that. But here I am, she's 13 years old, I'm saying, please go and wash the dishes, and she's squeezing her face.
But that's the balance that is needed. That's what you want.
But you see,
but if anything happens to her,
yes, who will she come to speak with?
If the chips are down, if there is pressure, if there is real pressure in her life, she'll call you.
Not lie. She will also call her dad.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. These kids know when the problem that is appropriate for mommy and the one that's appropriate for daddy occurs.
But it's the balance that you want, actually.
I talk about my dad so much that people don't even know that I had a mom who played a major role in my life. There were things that when they happened, I know when to go to my mom. But when my mom would have, you know, reacted with my sisters in certain way, I know right to the person who will forgive me whatever just because I spoke. So kids know these things. They know how to manage us as we are managing them.
Yeah.
And you're raising your child. You will know when your apology how you will arrange it. You will also know when the conversation is what is important. You will also know when we are not having this conversation. Imagine when we took the long holiday after Jason and I said, good friend, this holiday we are doing tailoring. I already paid before you came back. We're not talking about it. I registered 6 months. They said we should buy mineral and gun. I've paid. And she was like, you don't even want to hear what I think about it. And I said, no. Because if somebody had put me in tailoring, me too, I would have appreciated them for not hearing what I thought about it. She didn't listen. Now, whenever I send clothes to her madam, and I meet her on the machine, I see her clothes she's making, like, mommy, you didn't say anything. You see these kids, the end will justify the means.
But the parenting coach will tell you that you shouldn't have done that, you should have conversed with your child.
Made the coach raise her own like that. So you see me,
I think that
I don't do those things.
I think it's extremely important that we understand. We keep having this conversation. Mariam said something, and I think it's very, very powerful for parents to be aware of. We don't have the blueprint. And we're not going to be perfect at it. We're imperfect children, adults raising imperfect children into adulthood. So it's a journey of that balance. Yes, you're trying to find that balance. But back to what you're saying about the seeming lack of resilience in the generation just after us. I don't think it has to do with parents alone, because what shapes a child is beyond the parents. There is the parental stage, and then there's the environmental stage. There's a level of information they get. There's a level of mental health knowledge that we didn't have. And what you know sometimes helps you to know. If I say there is red is a dangerous color. You see all the red because you're already conscious of it. So we have a generation of people that are so conscious of mental health and the depression and the challenges and trauma that they spot it more than the way we spot the trauma. They identify it better than we identified it. So it's not about anything the parents did or did not do or the society. It's just that their antennas have been trained with the knowledge they have to spot it.
And they have knowledge.
Yes. Amaka from Port Harcourt is holding.
Is this Amaka? Are you sure?
Amaka, thanks for calling your live.
Because we've called Amaka twice.
Amaka, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to contribute to what people are discussing.
Yes.
I'm somebody like Nema. By the grace of God, I'm an action woman. Then God helps one in training children. some people are so strict that, or some people are so, lenient to children. At the end of the day, they spoil. But you know what? My children, when I'm in the parlor, they go to the room. When I'm in the room, they come to parlor. I satisfy them, but I don't tolerate rubbish from them. So, pampering a child much, I don't believe in that, because when we are growing, they didn't pamper us and we behave well. But children of nowadays, they will think, Gen Z what? So, let's just train them in a way that would be good for them, good for us parents at the end of the day. We are Africans.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
So I was saying that the knowledge is a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And there's a level of awareness. There are things I did not even see as a big deal when I was growing up. But with the knowledge I have now, it was a big deal. It was a red flag. It was abuse. It was from uncles, aunties, all of those people. I didn't know it was. I didn't see it as abuse because I didn't have the knowledge. The average 13-year-old now would obviously see it as will flag it because they have that knowledge. So we parents we're far behind the level of knowledge these children have. My child was telling me today that somebody in his class was having a conversation with someone in secondary school, friends with benefits. My husband said, which benefit are you talking about? Saying, but Dad, benefits, like flirtatious benefits. I would say flirtatious benefits. In
secondary school.
And I'm telling myself, like, okay, fantastic. So we need to start discussing flirtatious benefits that is happening over the phone, and it's important that we realize it. So you might think, they are moving this. We don't want fear in our children, as much as we understand that there must be respect, not fear. Respect, not fear. Finding that balance is important. When we send children, we say, the children have gone abroad and they are dealing with the reality and some cannot handle it. It's not because the parents failed. It's just because the reality is hitting them, and it's better for you to get it early. Sometimes you get to those countries, you don't have anybody that looks like you or sound like you. The level of racism shocks you. You are confronted with challenges that you did not expect to deal with. I traveled 2 years ago. Oh my God, I came back. Everybody was like, I told myself, I have never cried this much in my life. Like, everything was just, my phone would die. I would, the app would not work. They say you don't have credit card. As in, everything was just happening. I was so down on a trip. I'm an adult. And yet, I'm dealing with so many challenges back to back that I just broke down. It wasn't once, it was back to back. So, how do you expect a child to not break down? They are also we as adults are breaking down. We are. We just summon up courage and move on. So
because we learned resilience.
But people are committing suicide today. Adults are committing suicide. How many adults are medicated on drinking alcohol back to back as a way to cope with reality? Many Nigerians are in church as a way to cope with the reality. We are not dealing with it because we don't know how to. So we use Jesus. So, we use mosque. We use drink.
You mentioned these things that you said. The kids of nowadays already know, we don't know. I would, from my own lens, I would have said ignorance is bliss, because that's not what I was focusing on that time. At 9, my business was to, when I come from school, finish my own work, do my house chores, I go and grind pepper from my mother machine. And all I knew was that at least this one was working. I hated the life because there was a customer who poured an entire bucket of beans over my head.
My goodness.
For saying she wanted to make akara with it, and I added water, I made it more. And she bathed me with it. And my mom came back, I was like, I thought my mom would carry fight, because today if somebody did this to my child, I'll be fighting. And my mom just measured beans because she sold beans also and gave me, and I peeled it. And she blended the akara beans and said, take it to the woman's house. And I took it there, and she was like, the lesson for today is how to focus on your customer and your business. I was just 12, I hated it. But today, if you bring me any kind of rubbish, you will see the way I'm looking at it. It's not because I have not seen the rubbish. I might not just react. Sometimes I don't even answer you because I think that it's a waste of my energy to answer you. I built it much earlier, but my children will have the conversation from morning till night.
Yeah,
because now there's book for everything. Generation. There's name for everything.
They talk about everything.
There's word for everything.
Whenever I come home, my husband say, okay, they'll give you a new name, Abi. I'll say something. Like you started, Abi. Please, I don't want to hear.
Want to go label? There's
exactly. Don't come here. Well, we are doing two different things. Do your own and do my own.
Exactly.
That's the balance that you need.
What he's doing is, I have my clear family goal. I know what I want my kids to turn out. Your label's fine, but this is what mommy face here. Do this, and you be this.
Yeah. Okay, let me go on a short break. I have to. Our guest. You want to say something for our guest? Our guest might be coming in to join the conversation because she just launched a movie that is somewhat related to parenting. So we're going to be discussing that very soon. But let me let you take.
Yes, I was going to say. You had mentioned how different you are with your spouse and how your child responds differently to you, and I think that is a good thing and very important. My husband also says to me that sometimes when I say I would like you to get involved in this, he'll say no, you don't want that. You don't want the children to be too comfortable with me. You will need the person that once I step in, they understand that it has to be done. It's a very good balance. I remember my mom, I was scared of my mom, but my mom was a single mother for many years after my dad died. She had to be the disciplinarian, she had to be everything. This lovey whatever relationship was after we had grown up, and then she could now relax to be mother. So that you are able, for me it's even a privilege that you're able to be like that. And psychologists have said children act their most like they are silliest and they are most like they don't listen around their mothers because they know they can get away with a lot of things. So it's also a sign that you're doing it right.
Okay, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll see if our guest is here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
The world needs mums. With a splash of golden terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Change no thanks into yes please. Resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty family meals is all that matters. Where there are moms, there is love. Golden Terra Oil for pure love.
Now this is tomato mix. Even after adding water, you can still taste the tomato flavor.
With Tasty Tom tomato mix, you can cook any of your customers' favorite meals.
No color changing like traffic lights.
Tasty Tom will surely give you value for money because Tasty Tom tomato mix is thick. A little is enough to get your desired quantity of stew and soup. No unfair deal.
Tasty Tom makes me so happy. The taste is always on point.
And it doesn't color your meat or your chicken.
Because of Tasty Tom tomato mix, the taste of my food never changes. So my customers keep coming.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food, so I buy quality from the onset. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix.
Tasty Tom for tasty meals good for you. Available in convenient sachets.
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Today we'll go here.
Hey.
Let's get talking.
I'm sure we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. TVC Entertainment for pure entertainment. Now you can catch up with your favorite programs on TVC. Log on to www.youtube.com/TVC Entertainment. Join the fun.
Get ready to step into the heartbeat of your city like never before. Welcome to Events Diary, where every moment is a celebration. From the electric energy of Owambe extravaganza, to the richness of our culture, to the sophistication of corporate gatherings, Events Diary is your VIP pass to the hottest gatherings in Nigeria. And guess what? I'll be your guide, your style icon. Each week, join me as I transform from traditional chic to corporate sleek. Whether it's a birthday bash or a high-profile gala, you won't just see it, you'll feel like you're right there with me. Aww. From meetings to evening soirees, I'll be there. Or to the trendiest street festivals or to music concerts, Events Diary has something for everyone. So join me as we explore the vibrant tapestry of Nigerian scene, one event at a time.
Brand new studio, brand new set, a new face, but still your favorite breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria.
It's a fresh new energy, new vibe. You smell that?
Now that's the smell of tasty, tantalizing food from our various chefs.
And when it comes to sports updates with insightful analysis, the place you want to be is Wake Up Nigeria.
That's right. Every second there's a fresh occurrence, and every minute there's a story to tell. Keep abreast of happening locally and internationally via the news updates of Wake Up Nigeria.
It's light camera fashion, where we strut, slay, and sashay, and keep you updated with all the latest fashion trends.
Level up your morning.
Watch Wake Up Nigeria, where every morning begins with a spark.
Hey, my people, I greet you plenty.
Sending their daughters and the level of intentionality with which they've raised those girls. So it was talking about the fact that when they knew this girl would be going into the university and it would be abroad, from when she was 15, they started preparing her. Okay, you can hang out with your friends. This is how you take Uber. Yes, this is how you take Uber. This is how you cross the road. This is how you have your card. This is importance of financial discipline. No, even while she was here, she didn't leave until she was about 18. So they had a 3-year prep from like when she's like in SS1 to start saying, okay, from SS2, you spend days in the boarding house so that you start understanding the times and schedule, being alone. Then then they took her on driving from 16, understand a bit about to drive. Some people you don't just throw. Yeah, there's a preparation. And even when the admission came, that, okay, you're now in university, don't do the admission while you are going to the university. Let's get the admission a year before you actually go so that you feel less emotional pressure. Then whatever we discuss parenting, it requires so much from the parents that I'm wondering, do we really have, because I know the sacrifice this family make, the effort they put into doing all of this intervention, it doesn't mean that they've even gotten it right. There are still mistakes along that way, but how do we find this balance when we're talking to people that they are looking at pepper is this price, Gary is this price, I'm hustling school fees for this child. You're telling me to sit down and be telling the child this is how you should do. Like, I'm not with school fees to take me. So sometimes we're talking from our worldview, being that God has given us a bit of ability to provide a little bit. Some people don't have that at all. So how do we balance this conversation in a way that is fair to everybody listening?
I would like to. Okay, so maybe we'll look for another example, because that you don't have, that you are not materially there, does not mean that parents are not intentional or they are unable to be intentional. Sometimes because you don't have that material wealth, you are even more intentional. You are more intentional because you know that there's this lack and you don't want this lack to affect their upbringing. So sometimes in making these comparisons, let's not make it about what people have, like the material things that they have, but let's talk about it. Let's discuss it around intentionality. And a rich person can be intentional, a poor person can be. A rich person can be careless as well as a poor person can be. I've seen people that have come from poor homes and they've carried themselves with such dignity, because of the way they were raised. They understood that the only thing I lacked in this life is money, but everything else I had. And there are some people that were raised with so much money and they were so intentional in the way they were raised that people were like, he's so well brought up, the way they behave, as if, they were not raised with money or help. And yet there are some people that come up from those backgrounds, but because there was no intentionality, no one really paid attention. It was like money misroad. How do you have this kind of? So it's really about listening,
listening and having conversation regardless of.
Also, it's also important that your present reality is not something your children should detach from. I talked about my shopper that passed, and I felt that in protecting, when the husband left about 10 or 11 years back, he left her with all the girls, all 3 girls, and she wanted to shield them. So she found a way to put them with her friend. She would go and hawk. They never saw the work. Hawk till whatever clean, and once she's coming back, she's coming back with food so that they're never hungry. So they never saw the work. Just before she passed, I was having a conversation with the child. I was like, do you know if your mom were to die today, you will suffer? And the girl was wondering. I said, because you don't know what it is to put it down. You don't know what it is to put it there. Don't detach too much from your child. I remember my friends, they went to FGC in Benin, and they will come back. Their father would have prepared NEPA bill. Those days, prepared NEPA bill money. This one is your own to go and pay for this. It is you to go and pay for that. And they'll say, Daddy now give us money for transport fare. I'm coming from Dolphin, and I have to take bus, and I just used to laugh that in my own house. These are normal conversations. Who said you? I make my 1 naira 50 kobo from the 10 naira that I earn per day. You are in the business of what your parents do. You are in everything. You are not detached.
Very, very
so
important.
you know their sacrifices for you. And we are now raising kids. Even myself, I'm guilty of it. And we are detaching them so much from what we are going through. There was a time we were doing Salah. It was a day to Salah.
To withdraw money from my mom.
Let me shock you. My daughter was only 9 that year.
Teenager,
so we saw cheap tomatoes at a particular point. But I have a target place at Abule Ado. Then they had not built the real like this Lagos Road. And that place, they used to put pepper there. They would stop and it's cheaper. And I said, okay, I got to trade fair and I bought. And I told my daughter, okay, let's go to Abule Ado. And we went to Abule Ado. The one at Abule Ado was now better. I just put her on the bike, put the tomatoes on the bike and said, can you find your way home? She said, of course, mommy. Yes? This is it. Yes. I said, can you go from Abule Ado to the house? She said, yes, mommy. She got home. My neighbors were shocked. She took it right to Yolu's grinding engine. She came home with a basket of tomato, tatashi, everything on the bike. She shielded it like this 9-year-old. I came with the one that we had bought earlier.
Auntie, calm down. That is child abuse.
No, auntie, calm down.
My dad reminded me.
Come and arrest me. Share the thing that my parents did to me. The fact I'm even making is that no, Mariah, we underestimate the abilities of these children. Ordinarily, with all my eye I've seen with childbirth, I would have said never. But I tried it. Can you? She said, don't worry, mommy. She got home. By the time I got home with my own basket, they pluck this.
At 9, I was going from Mile 2 to Ilupeju by myself, but that reminded me. When I watched the video of the documentary they did for my birthday, and it was saying that when I entered the primary 6, I was like, Daddy, driving from Mile 2 to Ilupeju every day doesn't make sense because he's working in Mile 2, so I can take a bus. And I was taking bus from Mile 2 to Ilupeju while I was in primary 6. And when I entered secondary school, they would drop me in Oshodi, and I would go to Abeokuta by myself. I went to Compro, and I found my way to school. Boarding house, carry my bag. I go to school, I come back by myself. So we are so panicked. Even within Magodo.
Okay,
how often do you drop my children?
Let me tell you.
Mariah, how often do you drop? You didn't drop.
I pick my son every day as if he cannot walk.
Yes,
my sons find their way back.
My mom, my mom, night duty. So there were nights that I would have to sleep alone with my sister and wake up and get ready for school. And we'll get into a taxi. So we'll walk from the house to the junction, then get into the first taxi, then go to the next, that will take us to the next junction, get to the next taxi. If we're lucky, we'll get a taxi going straight to the junction close to my school. If not, we start walking. Like, I used to do that. There were times that, they'll forget us in school because my mom will think, oh, she's at work, someone is picking us. They don't know, nobody is picking us. And now realize time is going. I hold my little sister's hand and off we go. You see, bank moves. I used to go and put money in the bank for my mom, go and withdraw money in the bank for my mom.
It's not trauma. It's not abuse.
The roster for her workplace. Please, just University Teaching Hospital, people are owing me money. You see that roster, that was my job. Every staff are right there, and then their schedules for the month. Every time she would bring it to me. As a teenager, I was in secondary school.
Okay, let me do
so if they throw you go Canada, you will call depressed, not call us.
I would have hustled.
I hear you.
Let me also share my own story. Yeah. So me, I came 12 years after. I was looking for me. Yes, I didn't do jack. Nothing. And I still turned out okay. So it depends on everybody has a different
one. You know your siblings see you.
Exactly. They were with me. My brother was there. I have Michael. Thanks for calling Michael.
There was nobody that would have supported me. I had to learn myself.
Hello, Michael, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So, I was thinking because I wanted to take this from a different perspective. Yes. As a Christian, as someone who has been taught in the biblical ways, David in the Bible made us understand something about his relationship with God. He said, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. So when we're talking about discipline and harshness, we must know that God is our first example of who a parent should be. And he said, thy rod and thy staff, they bring comfort. So it means that there must be a balance between the rod and the staff. And one thing I've also learned as a teacher by, profession, I learned that for you to be a genuine and a sincere teacher, you have to be a student. So it gives you the understanding that to your children, you're a teacher. And if you must, teach them, you must be willing to also be a student. That means you must be able to learn from them. And that is what brings about, apologizing when you are wrong and making them see you as the first example of who a female should be and a male should be. Because children, the reason why God created, when social studies, just as it is being taught in school, it says family is the basic unit of the society. So it means the reason why we have a mother and father is so that if it's a girl child, the girl child can see the mother as a first example. And if it's a male child, the male child can see the father as a first example. So we must see ourselves as teachers to them, so that everything we are doing, we are teaching them to become like us later. So it won't be a repetition of how our fathers and mothers treated us in the past.
Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go on a very short break. I'm told our guest is here. Just like 5 minutes, just have her a few minutes. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view.
My name na Chika Okeke. My name na Uwi Balogun. My name na Damilola Banire. My name na Moyo Faraway Ahmed. If you also call me Moyo, listen. And this na Abigail. And I dare on top your view pigeon. I'm going to bring you bass, boost.
I don't get person will be single mother before. He carry another man show say now my husband be this.
This now what you want.
After that day, the man
no go see him again.
If you snooze, you lose. If you miss this show, you miss out. On top this our show, I not dey gree for anybody.
When you dey friend the husband, you not see sign say the guy smart, you don't vex, don't give signs.
If they look for person, we will give them to you. Fact as it be.
Men no they ever get forced. If baby not there for her,
na
the woman.
Talk no dey be person, make person no fit talk through inside. But for this country, we not say if we open court in the morning, waiting no good, no good.
Me and my sisters, hey, we go tanda gidigba for inside studio to give una all the latest information.
But look, we not even take responsibility for the children. Leave the man.
And that's some warrior.
I'm Miriam Lunge. I'm a passionate environment advocate and a published author.
I am the founder of Celebration, a businesswoman, and a fashion icon.
I am a wealth coach and a real
So she made it. Thanks for joining us. So we'll have the award-winning Nigerian actress, director, businesswoman, and fashionista. She'll be speaking with us on her latest Nollywood blockbuster movie, My Mother is a Witch. Not My Mother, Sha. Their Mother is a Witch. A movie that delves into the fractured bond between a mother and daughter, set against the tapestry of memory and understanding. Also have with us Mercy Aigbe and Efe Erele in the studio. I'm telling you, the producer. Yes, fantastic. Good to have you. So let me start with Mercy. Tell us about this movie.
Okay, so My Mother is a Witch, like I said, it's a movie that has to do with how African parents, especially African mothers, actually think that they have to go overboard when it comes to discipline and training their kids. The excessiveness, at which they do it, and how if they're not careful, they actually push the kids away from them. So it's a conversation that I think we need to have, because we have a lot of damaged children, a lot of damaged adults who went through all those trauma and are yet to heal properly. And if we're not careful, the cycle continues. So it becomes a culture. So that's why I'm really passionate about this film, and I really, really want everybody to go out and see it in the cinemas. They will
Please tell us about the movie.
Yes, I'm the producer and executive producer of this film. Myself and Victoria, my co-producer, decided that, you know, this is a story that needs to be told. We might joke about it, we might laugh about it a lot, but then we realized that a lot of people actually still face some trauma from their childhood. I mean, I feel like this film is so relatable because everyone on this table can relate to it. At some point or the other, we face tough love from our mothers. And there'll be a point that you'll be like, is this really my mother?
Yes,
is my mother
yeah,
a witch? So I was like, you know what, this story needs to be told and we need to tell. I'm so happy that Auntie Mercy agreed to be on this project because it wasn't going to be anybody else but her. She gave it her all. She interpreted the character. She made it hers. And I'm so proud.
Well done, well done. I've seen the trailer of the movie. I love, there was a scene she did. When she pulled you, you try, you remember. You know, there's also something in my mind because I grew up hearing this thing. I'm from Edo. Our mothers owned it. It's something they worry. So I've already said that to my kids already. So look back, I get me wrong, they see you, you know. So why did you bring it to the, is it a real life story? Did it happen to someone from, why that area? Thank you for doing it though for the Edo people.
You're welcome, it's my pleasure. We decided to do it, first of all, it's based on true events because, like I said, it happens in every other African home. And I experienced it with my mother as well. It's really tough love. It's just our mother's way of showing us love, but sometimes it's a bit too much. And I do know that even till now, I do face some challenges. Like, I want to be over perfect just to make my mother happy. And sometimes I face the trauma of it because then you can't be perfect at every point in time. And sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm not doing enough and everything, and it affects me personally. That's why I was like, okay, you know what? I know that other people are going through this, because when one person is going through something, there's a high possibility that in a room out of 5 people, 3 people are going through that same thing. And that's why I said, you know what, this story needs to be told.
So how do we watch this movie?
It's in cinemas from tomorrow.
Hey,
cinemas nationwide.
Is this your first production?
No, this is my first production on this scale. I've produced over like 10, 15 movies.
Wow.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So, for me, I'm looking at you and wondering, hey, is there any truth to the character you played? Because you took it so seriously. Because I know that you have a daughter and she's turning out really.
You're trending this week.
I'm trending. Okay, so I know the video of me saying that at the premiere, saying that I had to apologize to, you know, a few days to the premiere, I had a reflection of how I brought my daughter up. And at some point, I had to tell myself the truth, and I was like, Mercy, I think you were too hard on her, because there was an incident that, you know, I think she wanted to talk about it, and I'm like, are you okay? As in, like, no, like, I'm like, are you okay? What should I do? I mean, we chop belts, chop orishi. I am not traumatized, but people are different. Because, you know, I'm like, okay, it's okay. I had it coming. It's who I am. It's okay. My daddy can beat me. That's his own, you know. But we're different people. And then the way we receive things different. So we have to be more sensitive as parents. Yes, we have to also put the feelings. We have to take cognizance of the feelings of our kids in the house also, so that at least we need to find a balance. It's not all the time that you know. We understand that as parents, it's from a good place. We have good intentions. We want our kids to turn out good, great, and all those things.
Fortunately, we have to wrap because I know I'm so sorry that we have to wrap up. But thank you so much. Wishing you the best.
Thank you
so much. Tomorrow only in Lagos.
No, nationwide.
Yes, fantastic. Congratulations. Wishing you the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.